Act 1, Scene 2. Okay, in the previous class, we were doing Act 1, Scene 2, and we had completed up to line number 40. That is, from 1 to 40 we had done. Now we have to continue after that. So, in the beginning, what we had seen, that what happens in the scene and where this scene takes place. This scene takes place in Belmont, in one of the rooms of Portia's house. And who is present there? Nerissa and Portia. So Portia is present with Nerissa. Nerissa is her maid. Okay, and they both are having conversation with each other, and what they are talking about, that Portia is telling Nerissa about her thoughts, that what she thinks about the suitors, that what she thinks about the suitors, those who had already come to make choice of the caskets. Okay, and now Nerissa, now Portia will describe that what she thinks about the suitors who had come earlier to make choice of the casket. Now this is very important, dear children, that 6 suitors are there about whom Portia will tell to Nerissa. So you have to keep about the 6 suitors, that who were the 6 suitors, and also that what Portia thinks about those suitors. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, so we shall start from line number 41. Portia says, I pray thee, o'ername them, and as thou namest them, I will describe them, and according to my description, level at my affection. So here Portia says to Nerissa that I pray thee, that is, I request you. I pray thee means I request you, o'ername them, that you call out their names. So Portia says to Nerissa, I request you, you call out their name, and as you will call out their name, as you will say their name, as you will take their name, I will describe them. That is, I will tell about them, that what I think about them, and according to my description, level at my affections. And then she says, that is, as I will describe them, then you can guess out about my affection, my feelings about them. Now Nerissa said, first there is the Neapolitan prince. Now Nerissa took name of the first suitor, that is the Neapolitan prince. Now Neapolitan, you can see other side, point number 45. It is given that Neapolitan means from Naples, that is a king, a prince from Naples. So Nerissa asks about the prince from Naples. So what you think about him? Portia says, that's a colt indeed, for he doth nothing but talk of his horse, and makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts, that he can shoe him himself. Now what Portia tells about this prince of Naples, that yes, that's a colt indeed. Colt means 46 number, other side it is given, that is inexperienced young man, like a young horse. Yes, colt means a young horse. So here she compares this Neapolitan prince with the inexperienced, a young horse. Okay, she says that he is like inexperienced young man. Okay, and truly, indeed means truly, that yes, truly he is like a young inexperienced man, like a young horse, for he does nothing but talk of his horse, because he does nothing but only he talks about his horses. Okay, about his horse he talks, and he makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts, that he can shoe him himself. And then Portia says that he makes it a great appropriation, that is, that he thinks that it is benefit for him, that is, he thinks that it is good from his side, that he can shoe to his own horse. Okay, you can see other side for the meaning, 47 to 48 number. That Neapolitan prince were famed for their horsemanship. That is, Neapolitans are there, that people from the Naples, they are famed, that is, they are well known for their horsemanship. And then 47 to 48, that Prince of Naples thinks that it is an addition to his own merits that he can shoe his own horse. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind, that the first suitor which about whom Nerissa asked from Portia was Neapolitan prince. And what is the characteristics of this man? That Neapolitan prince, Portia told about this prince that he is like a young, inexperienced man, and because he talks much about his horse, and he thinks that it is addition on his own merits that he can shoe his own horse. And what is the speciality of the people from Naples? That they are famed for their horsemanship. Okay, now after this, Nerissa asked, then there is the County Palatine. Now Nerissa asked about the next suitor. Okay, what do you think about the next suitor? And she calls out his name. And who is that suitor? County Palatine. So County Palatine, you can look other side, point number 50. That County Palatine, wait, yeah, County Palatine, the Count from Palatinate, the region on the west bank of the Rhine. The Count is a local ruler or a noble man. So what is given? That who is County Palatine? That you have to keep in mind, point number 50. It is given other side, that the Count from the Palatinate. And what is this Palatinate? That the region on the west bank of the river Rhine. Okay, that is this, there is a region, there is a place on the west bank of the river Rhine. The place is called the Palatinate, and the Count from there. Count means that is a local ruler or a noble man. Okay, so she asked that then there is County Palatine, that what do you think about this ruler who comes from Palatinate? Portia tells that he does nothing but frown, as who should say, and you will not have me choose. He hears merry tales and smiles not. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old, being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth. I had rather be married to a death's head with a bone in his mouth than to either of these. God defend me from these two. Now what Portia tells about this County Palatine, that this ruler from Palatine, she says he does nothing but frown. That is, he does nothing, that this ruler does nothing but he frown, that is, he remains angry and he looks sad, that he gives sad expression, and most of the time he remains angry. As who should say, that is his expression, by looking at his expression one could guess out, or one could guess out about him, that what actually he wants to say is, and you will not have me choose. That is, Portia tells that by looking at his expression, so we can guess out as if he wants to say, as if he wants to convey the other person, that if you don't want me to choose the casket, then you yourself choose it. So he hears merry tales and smiles not. Then Portia says that he hears merry tales. Merry means happy stories. That is, he hears the good stories, happy stories he listens, but never he smiles. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old. And then Portia says that I fear, that is, I am really fearful about this man, that he will become like the weeping philosopher when he becomes old. Okay, being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth. Now that is, as at this young age when he should remain lively, but he remains so dull, and in such unmannerly way he remains so sad at this young age. So by looking at this, that he remains so much sad at his young age, so I am fearful about him that he will become like the weeping philosopher, okay, when he will grow old. So I had rather be married to a death's head with a bone in his mouth than to either of these. Now what Portia says, that is, I had rather be married to a death's head, that is, I would prefer to marry a death's head, that is a skull having bone in his mouth, than getting married to these two people. Now which two men she is talking about? That the Neapolitan prince and the count from Palatine. That instead of marrying these two people, I prefer to marry a death's head having bone in his mouth. God defend me from these two. And finally she says, that is, may God save me from these two men. Now you have to see other side, the weeping philosopher, who actually is weeping philosopher. So the weeping philosopher, Heraclitus of Phasis, who went to live alone in the mountains because he was so distressed by mankind's stupidity. Okay, you have to keep these things in mind, these characters about them you have to keep in mind, so it can come in exam. Questions can be based from here, that who was weeping philosopher. So you will have to write this, that Heraclitus of Phasis, who went to live alone in the mountains because he was so distressed by mankind's stupidity. That is, Heraclitus, he was a man from Phasis. Phasis is the name of a place. So he went to live alone there in the mountains. And why he went to live alone in the mountains at his young age? Only because he was very much distressed by the mankind's stupidity. Okay, so Portia here says that this County Palatine, that at this young age he remains so much sad and always he keeps on frowning, that is, always he keeps on remaining angry. So that makes me to think that he will become like the weeping philosopher as he will grow old. That is, he will also go and start living there in the mountains. Okay, then after this, Nerissa now asks about the third suitor, that how say you by the French lord Monsieur Le Bon? Now Nerissa asked about the third suitor, that how say you, that is, what do you think of French lord? That is, French lord means that is the lord from France. What do you think about the French lord Monsieur Le Bon? Now who is this Monsieur Le Bon? What does it mean? You can see at the side, line number 60 to 61. Sir the Good. Okay, Monsieur Le Bon, literally it means Sir the Good, a satirical expression of traditional affected vicious Frenchman. Okay, so she asked that what do you think about the French lord Sir the Good? Then Portia says, God made him, and therefore let him pass for a man. In truth, I know it is a sin to be a mocker, but why he has a horse better than the Neapolitans, a better bad habit of frowning than the Count Palatine. He is every man in no man. If a throstle sings, he falls straight a capering, he will fence with his own shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. If he would despise me, I would forgive him. For if he love me to madness, I shall never requite him. Now you understand its meaning, that Portia, what she says about the French lord. God made him, that is, as God has made him as a man, so therefore let him pass for a man. That is, let him pass for. Pass for means, that is, let him be accepted as a man. That is, as God has given him birth, as God has sent him on this earth, in this world, so we should accept him as a man. Then she says, in truth I know it is a sin to be a mocker. Now she says that in truth, that is truly, I know that it is a sin. Sin means, that is, it's a grievous crime. पाप, ओके, इन हिंदी वी से पाप, कि मतलब ये पाप है कि मैं किसी के ऊपर हंसूं. ओके, पोशर सेज कि किसी का मजाक उड़ाना मुझे पता है कि ये क्या है, ये पाप है. सो आई नो दैट इट इज़ अ sin to be a mocker. Mocker means a person, one who makes fun of someone. So Portia, what she was doing, that she was making fun of all the suitors, isn't it? So here also she is making fun of the French lord, saying that as God has made him, so let him be accepted as a man. So I know it is a sin to be a mocker. Then she says that I know that it is a sin to be a mocker, but he, now see, look at the punctuation mark, exclamatory mark is given, exclamation mark is given after he. Then she says, but he, that this man, why, he has a better horse than the Neapolitans. And then she says that why means here well, that well, he has a horse better than the Neapolitans. And then she says that this man also talks about his horse, okay, and according to him that he has a better horse than the Neapolitans, a better bad habit of frowning than the Count Palatine, and he has a better bad habit, okay, that is he has better bad habit. You can see that better is also given, bad habit, that means she is comparing this man with the previous suitor. And who was that? This County Palatine. So she says that he has a better bad habit of frowning than the Count Palatine. He is every man is no man. And now what she says, that he is every man in no man. Every man in no man means that is this man, he doesn't have any of the characteristics of his own. Okay, he doesn't have his own personality. Okay, it is given at the side 66 to 67 number, that he has everybody else's characteristics and no personality of his own. Okay, so she says that he is every man in no man, that is he has characteristics of all the other people, but he doesn't have any of the personality of his own. Then she tells that if a throstle sing, he falls straight a capering. Now she says that is if a throstle sing, throstle means that is the common English bird, that if this bird sings, if the throstle bird starts singing, if he listens to its song, then he falls straight a capering. That is immediately what he starts doing, that he immediately starts jumping up and down to this music. Okay, that to this common music of this bird also he starts jumping up and down. So he will fence with his own shadow, and what he does, that is he will fence with his own shadow, that is he starts drawing his sword and start fighting with his own shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. Now she mocks at him, saying that if I have to marry this man, if I have to marry the French lord, so that would be like marrying 20 husbands. Okay, why? Because he doesn't have any of the characteristics of his own, he doesn't have any kind of personality of his own, but he has characteristics of all the other people. Then if he would despise me, I would forgive him. Now what she says, that if he would despise me means that is hate me, that if he would hate me, then I would forgive him, then surely I will forgive him if he will hate me. For if he love me to madness, I shall never requite him. Then she says, but if he will love me like a mad person also, if he will love me madly also, I shall never return his love. Okay, I shall never requite him. Requite meaning is given at the side, point number 72, that is return his love. So she says that if he will love me like mad person also, if he will love me passionately also, I'm never going to return him his love. Okay, so you have to keep in mind, dear children, about the three suitors that we have discussed. First suitor was Prince of Neapolitan, and then second was Count Palatine, and third one is the French Lord. Okay, and about their characteristics also you have to keep in mind that Neapolitan king, what Portia said about him, that he is like a young inexperienced horse. Okay, and he talks much about his own horse. Okay, that he thinks that in it's an addition to him, it's an addition of merit to him that he can shoe his own horse. Okay, and then second suitor, Count Palatine, what she said about Count Palatine, that is uh, he does nothing but he frowns, that most of the time he remains angry and he remains sad. Okay, and he hears the merry tales, happy stories, but never he smiles, never he feels happy. And she also said that I am really fearful about him, that as he will grow old, then he will become like the weeping philosopher. Okay, and who is weeping philosopher? Heraclitus of Phasis, who went to live alone in the mountains because he was so distressed by the mankind's stupidity. Okay, and she also said finally that if I have to marry him, then I would prefer to marry a death's head than getting married to these two suitors, that is Prince of Neapolitan and the Count Palatine. And then third suitor is the French Lord, and about him what Portia said, that Portia said that he doesn't have personality of his own. Okay, that he has personality of all the other men, but he doesn't have any personality of his own, and he behaves very strangely, that if he listens to the song of a throstle bird also, so what he start doing, that is he starts jumping up and down listening the song, and he will fence with his own shadow, that is he will take his sword and he will start fighting with his own shadow. And if I have to marry him, so it would be like marrying 20 husbands. So if he will love me passionately also, I would forgive him. If he is going to hate me to any amount, so I will forgive him. But if he is going to love me passionately like a mad person also, but never I will return him his love. Okay, now next suitor is Portia asks about that what say you then to Falconbridge, the young Baron of England. Now Nerissa here asks to Portia about the fourth suitor, that what say you then to Falconbridge, the young Baron of England. Now Portia here says, you know I say nothing to him, for he understands not me, nor I him. He has neither Latin, French, nor Italian, and you will come into the court and swear that I have a poor pennyworth in the English. He is a proper man's picture, but alas, who can converse with a dumb show? How oddly he is suited! I think he bought his doublet in Italy, his round hose in France, his bonnet in Germany, and his behavior everywhere. So here, Portia speaks about Falconbridge, the young ruler of England, that what she thinks about him. So Portia says, you know, Nerissa, that I say nothing to him. So she says that you know, Nerissa, that I do not say anything to him, that is I do not talk to him, for he understands not me. For here means because he doesn't understand me, that is he doesn't understand my language, nor I him, that is nor do I understand what he speaks, that is the language he uses, nor I understand him, nor he understands my language. He has neither Latin, French, nor Italian. And then she tells Nerissa that is he doesn't know speaking Latin also, French also, nor Italian. That these three languages he doesn't know to speak. And you will come into the court and swear that I have a poor pennyworth in the English. And then Portia says that, and my knowledge in English is also very weak. That is, I don't understand English. I know only these three languages, Latin, French and Italian. But this young baron from England, he knows English. So he speaks English and I speak Latin, French and Italian. So we do not understand each other's language. He is a proper man's picture. And then she says that he is a proper man's picture. Proper man's picture, point number 80. It is given at the side that he is a good looking man, that he has got a good appearance. Okay. He is a proper man's picture, that is, he is good at looks, but alas, who can converse with a dumb show? And then she says that who can converse, that is, who can talk with a dumb show, that if I get married to him, so how long, because we do not understand each other's language, so giving the signs and like the dumb show, how we will be able to spend our lives together. How oddly he is suited. Now after this, what Portia started, that is, she started ridiculing him about his dressing sense. So she said that how oddly means strangely, that is, how in a strange manner he is suited, that is, he is dressed. Suited means dressed, that is his dressing sense, the dress that he wears. So how strange it looks. I think he bought his doublet in Italy. Now Portia tells that I think, looking at him, that he has purchased his doublet. Doublet means jacket. It is given at the side, point number 82. That I think he has purchased his jacket in Italy, his round hose in France. Round hose means breeches. And his bonnet in Germany. Bonnet means hat. Okay, and breeches means, that is, his pants. So his bonnet in Germany, that is his hat in Germany, and his behavior everywhere. His behavior, that is the way he behaves. His manners he has taken from all the places. By looking at him, it looks like that he has such a strange dressing sense, that it appears that he has purchased jacket from one country and round hose from other, and his bonnet from third. Okay, and his behavior from everywhere. Then Nerissa asks about the next suitor, that what think you of the Scottish lord, his neighbor? Then Nerissa asks that what do you think about, what thoughts you have about the Scottish lord, that is the lord from the Scotland, his neighbor, that is whose neighbor? England. Okay. Now Portia says that he has a neighborly charity in him, for he borrowed a box of the ear of the Englishman, and swore he would pay him again when he was able. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another. Now what Portia tells about the Scottish lord, that he has a neighborly charity in him, that this Scottish lord has a neighborly charity. Neighborly charity is given at the side, that charity for his neighbor, that he has charity for his neighbor, for he borrowed a box of the ear of the Englishman. And now Portia tells, now what Portia is doing here, Portia is making fun of this suitor as well. Okay, this Scottish lord. So she said that he has a neighborly charity in him. For means because he borrowed a box of the ear of the Englishman, that is, the Englishman had given a box of the ear. The box of the ear means a blow on the ear. Okay, that is a blow, mukka mara uske muh pe. So Portia said that the Englishman gave a blow on his ear and swore he would pay him again when he was able. So after getting blow from the Englishman, so what this Scottish lord swore means kasam lena, that he swear that he would repay this blow of ear to the Englishman whenever he was able. Okay, that when he will be able to do so, then he will give him back this blow on his face. So I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another. And now she says that I think that the Frenchman became his surety. That is, I think that the Frenchman had become his guarantor, that he will surely repay him, blow to him, and sealed under for one another, that is, he became his guarantor. Now Nerissa asked about the next suitor. How like you the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew? So who is the next suitor? That the Duke of Saxony's nephew, that is the young German. Okay, what do you think about him? Nerissa asked. Then Portia said, very wildly in the morning when he is sober, and most wildly in the afternoon when he is drunk. When he is best, he is little worse than a man, and when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. And the worst fall that ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him. Now, what Portia tells about this young German, and who is this young German? The Duke of Saxony's nephew. That is, he is the nephew of the Duke of Saxony's, and he is a German. So Portia tells, very wildly in the morning. That is, he remains very badly in the morning. That he looks very badly in the morning when he is sober. That is, morning time, we know that during the morning time we remain fresh. We look very sober, very plain. So she says that when he is very sober in the morning, so he looks very badly. And most wildly in the afternoon when he is drunk. And during the afternoon time when he is drunk, so he looks most wildly. That is, he looks still worse. And when he is best, he is little worse than a man. And now she says that when he is little worse, when he is best, that is, when he gives his best look, his best expression, then he is little worse even than a man. And when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. That is, when he is at his worst condition, so he looks better than a wild animal as well. And the worst fall that ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him. Now finally what Portia said, and the worst fall that ever fell. 99 to 100 number, you can see, children. Wait. So here it is given, 99 to 100 number, that if the worst thing that could ever happen should happen, that is, whatever worst thing could happen in my life with me, that should happen, but I hope I shall make shift to go without him. Then what she said, but I hope that I shall make shift. Make shift means manage. That is, I hope that I should manage to go without him. That if I have to marry this person, so I better feel that I should not marry at all. Okay, I should still manage to remain without such a person. Then Narisa says, if he should offer to choose and choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will. If you should refuse to accept him. Now Narisa says after this, if he should offer to choose, that is, if he is given chance to make choice of the casket. Okay, what Narisa says, if he should offer to choose, that is, if he is given chance to make choice of the casket and choose the right casket, and in his attempt, if he makes the right choice of the casket, so you should refuse to perform your father's will if you should refuse to accept him. That is, if you refuse to accept him after his correct choice also. So in this way you are going to refuse to perform your father's wish. Portia says, therefore, for the fear of the worst, I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. For if the devil be within and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. I will do anything, Nerissa, or I be married to a sponge. Now what Portia says, that therefore for the fear of the worst, that is, therefore for the fear of the worst, that is, so that this worst thing may not happen, I request you, Nerissa, that you set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. That is, you keep a deep glass, that is a big glass filled with Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. Contrary casket means on the wrong casket. Okay. For if the devil be within, that is, if devil also will be there in the wrong casket, and that temptation without, that is, but he will be attracted towards the Rhenish wine. Okay, so whether if there will be devil also there in the casket and the temptation without, that is, he will be tempted towards the wine. I know he will choose it, that I know that he will surely choose that casket only because of the temptation of the wine. So I will do anything, Nerissa. And then she says that I will do anything, Nerissa, or I will be married to a sponge, or means before, that before I'll be married to a drunkard. Sponge is there, sponge means drunkard, that before I get married to such a drunkard, I will do anything to escape from such kind of men. Okay, so we stop here on line number 111, and in the next video we will continue from Nerissa's speech, line number 112. Thank you, dear children, and you keep that in mind, that these 6 suitors about whom we have discussed, you have to always keep in mind. Okay, so who are the 6 suitors? Let me repeat before I stop here, that Prince of Naples, that is the Neapolitan prince, was the first one. Okay, and then the County Palatine, second one, and then we have the French Lord, third one, the Falcon Bridge, he is the young Baron of England, fourth one, and then fifth is the Scottish Lord, and then the sixth is the young German who is the Duke of Saxony's nephew. So you have to keep these names, these suitors in order, that who was the first one, who was the second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Okay, and what Portia said about these 6 suitors. So you have to keep that in mind always, children, and it is very important because questions come sometimes from this part in your board's exam. Thank you. Bye.